What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Veteran and Rookie Podcast. This here is your veteran, Benea, speaking.
This is your rookie, John.
Opening the soda. As always, what you got there? Is that like a huckleberry something?
It is, yeah. It's like it says delicious.
It smells delicious.
It does. You want it a little tasty?
We'll have a little bit.
It's real sugar. It's real good. I need it because today we're in the worst division in the NFL.
It's true. It is huckleberry. It's also true that it's the worst division in the NFL. So, like a couple episodes ago, we did the AFC West, and you want to start off with the Raiders, and I was like, are you crazy? But, like, in a division like this, where do you start?
I mean, it doesn't really matter. They're kind of all bad. I have them at different degrees of badness because I think some are less terrible than the others, but it really doesn't matter. I mean, they're all pretty close.
Yeah.
I have one team over the others by about 10 points, which I think is crazy, which I don't fully believe, but that's the way that the numbers came out.
Where do you want to start, Mr. Rookie?
Let's start with the Falcons.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Atlanta Falcons.
They went out there and they made a lot of good moves, I would say, in signings and whatnot. But one that it still has me scratching my head a little bit is the lack of movement at the quarterback position. They did go out and sign Taylor Heineke, who's a good backup, or if someone like Desmond Ridder really struggles, you can throw him in there. He might win you a few games like he did in Washington. But it seems like it's a good roster that it's the classic saying, really like a quarterback away, and it feels like they might be. And so there's still some rumors out there they might pull a trade for like a Ryan Tannehill or something like that. And I think if they did get themselves a Ryan Tannehill, that would be something that would push them into the playoffs. I think, because that gets you 2 or 3 more wins. But currently, Desmond Ridder is currently set to be the starter, and I have him at a 10 out of 20.
I'm at a 7.
At a 7, okay.
He's not very good in his 4 games, not 400 games. He got 700 yards and 2 touchdowns in 4 games.
Yeah, he didn't make any terrible mistakes. He doesn't have any interceptions, which is nice. But he plays. He seems to play a very conservative type of ball, kind of a game manager, if anything. He's still like a big question mark though. We only have seen him in those 4 games. Maybe he'll come out and be great. I don't have super high expectations for the former 3rd-round pick though.
I looked up a highlight. I looked up highlights Desmond Ridder, and there was 2 videos, and one of them was from college. So
nice.
That's always a good thing. And the other one, I watched it, and it was 3 minutes long. It was like 2 games.
Yep.
It was 2 games. It was basically like
him completing 10-yard in routes.
Yeah, some of his passes were pretty good. He was getting it into tight windows, but I mean, nothing special. I think he'd be a good backup probably, but he's starting, and he has a backup behind him who's a good backup. So
2 backups.
Yeah, and together with all their, I think Taylor Heineke had played 12 games. He played 9 games, and he had 1,800 yards. So I mean, not terrible.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some Taylor Heineke this season.
Yeah, I give him a 7. I'm not impressed with either of them. I don't think either of them will be good.
Yeah, this is what I think is the strong suit of this Falcons team, though, and that is their running back room. Of course, they took Bijan Robinson with the 7th overall pick in the draft. He had over 1,500 yards and 18 touchdowns at Texas last year. So very a warranted pick. Typically you avoid running backs in the 1st round or whatnot, but he's one of those guys that I think could very well be one of those next great running backs for the next 3 or 4 years before injuries take him down. Like a Saquon Barkley or Nick Chubb. I think he'll be a top running back, and I don't think it'll take him long to get into that conversation. Along with, he also has Tyler Algier in that backfield too. He ran for 1,000 yards as a rookie. And don't forget about Cordell Patterson, who is a great weapon on the ground. He can catch. He returns kicks. We'll get to that in a little bit. But with all that combined, I gave them an 8 out of 8 with that extra point along with it there for that running back room.
I gave them a 6.5, and I did not give them the extra point.
Really? Did you save it for someone else?
I did, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought this was an easy one here.
I don't think so.
Because I think Bijan's going to be. I think he'll probably could be the rookie of the year.
I think he could be.
I think he's set up to succeed big time.
I think he could be. But even if they had somebody like, I don't want to say Never mind. I was gonna say
Okay.
even if they had like Saquon in there, I wouldn't have given them the number 1. But
I mean, there's people talking about Bijan Robinson being the first overall pick in fantasy.
yeah,
Like, and I don't blame him. Like, young running back, get him while you can for the next few years here.
yeah. But I still think it's really good backfield. I give him a 6.5 out of 8.
Mhm.
I just think someone else has a better backfield.
What do you give that receiving room?
I give him a 5 out of 12. I don't love them. It's kind of Drake London and Mac Hollins. Mac
Yeah, and then
Hollins.
that's about it.
And that's kind of it. And you don't really want Drake London to be your number 1 receiver either because,
Well, I think they do. They took him 8th overall.
well, I don't think if you went to like half the other teams in the NFL, he'd be a number 2 or 3 or 4.
Really?
I think so.
I think he's going to be good. He only had like 800 yards last year. I think he could be a 1,000-yard receiver, even with the little bit of a mess there might be at quarterback. I think he's going to be good, but
Sure, but he's basically the only thing out there, and they have
yeah, it really falls off after that.
Mac Hollins, and he's all right.
Scotty Miller, they got Cordell Hodge. Mac Hollins is coming off a career year with the Raiders, though, 700 yards and 4 touchdowns. Solid.
Yeah, it's
Maybe not what you want out of your number 2. I mean, if that feels, I guess that's fine.
he was playing
But-
alongside of Devontae Adams, though, and Devontae Adams is always going to be targeted, so
Yep.
take some yards away from him. But, yeah, what'd you give him?
I gave them a 6, so just above you there.
Oh, you're really high on them.
Apparently, I've given everyone a higher rating than you have so far.
Yeah, we'll see if that changes. I gave their tight ends. I think Kyle Pitts, he could be a really good tight end if he stops like dying on the field.
Or if, the quarterbacks stop overthrowing him.
Yeah, because I drafted him in fantasy and I was upset. You were upset that I drafted him.
I was.
I'm.
You should have let me take him.
I definitely should have. Yeah.
You'll listen to me this year.
No, I won't. But and I'm just gonna pick everybody, and they're all gonna be hurt, man. But I think he'd be a really good weapon out there. Him and Drake London together would be good as receiving targets because there's not many other receivers here. If he doesn't, keep getting hurt or get targeted because they picked him really early, and then Juwan Smith is their other guy,
Mm-hmm.
and he's fine, I guess.
He's solid.
He had 245 yards, and that's, sure, whatever. He's a tight end. He does more blocking, I assume. I give him a 5 out of 8.
All right, yeah, I gave him a 4. Because I do think Kyle Pitts can still be like a generational talent. Like, we might just have to be patient, because I think sometimes when, there's all that hype in the draft, and then he's like just okay his first couple of years. Like, I think he still could be a superstar tight end in the making. But just at the same time, we haven't really seen a lot of it yet. So that's why I do have him at that 4.
Yeah, he played 10 games last year, and he got 350 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I didn't realize he had 1,000 yards as a rookie.
yeah. He had 1,000 yards as a rookie on 110 targets. He had 60 targets this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he only, both of his years, he has 3 touchdowns combined. So, that's not the best,
Yep.
but
I mean, he finally got some on American soil this year, though, because his only touchdown last year was in England.
that's kind of weird. On the O-line, what
Mhm.
do you think about their O-line?
I think it's fine. I give him a 5 out of 10. Jake Matthews is a solid tackle. They got Chris Limstorm. He was voted the Pro Bowl last year, and he was also a second-team All-Pro. And, yeah, I mean, they also took an lineman in the second of this past year's draft. It's an okay line.
I had a little bit more hope in it. I saw what other people had said about it because I don't know too much about O-linemen and
Mm-hmm.
and those kind of like O-line and D-line I don't really have the best opinions on. So I went and got someone else, and the PFF rating like altogether for their linemen put them at 10th best offensive line in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
And from what you said, I did see that they drafted somebody. I think he could be good too. Maybe a bit high, but I gave him a 12.
Oh,
I gave him an 8 out of 10.
nice.
So that's it.
All right, jumping over to the defensive line now. What do you have going on down in the trenches?
They run a 3-4, so most of their pass rush is going to come from their linebackers, but
Mhm.
their linemen, I gave them a 6 out of 10. I think they're all pretty solid. What is his name?
Grady Jarrett.
Grady Jarrett. Yeah, he had 6 sacks and he's a pretty solid guy.
And 12 tackles for loss.
And 12 tackles for loss. Yeah. I wasn't looking too much at this one, but yeah. Did you have more to say about that?
Yeah, they traded for Calais Campbell from the Ravens. They also got David Onyemata, I believe, from the Saints, I want to say. Campbell's getting up there in age. He's not as great as he once was, especially in like his Jacksonville days and whatnot. He's going to be 37 by the time the season starts, but he's still a good player on that line there, and probably an even better leader and locker room presence to have on that team there. So some good guys that they brought in, and of course Grady Jarrett's still there. I gave them an 8 out of 10.
Dang.
All right, linebacking core. What you got going on there?
I don't think they're that good. The top 5, I was looking at the top 5 guys, and even running a 3-4, the person with the most sacks was a lineman. And then they also their top 5 sack leaders on the linebacking list, altogether they had 11.5.
Ouch.
So that kind of, I didn't love it, but I also did see, they had a lot of tackles and they look all right. So I did give them on that upper half of 15. So they're just hitting 12. Or wow, I cannot talk.
That is on the upper half.
Upper half of 15 is 8. I should just stop talking. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I also gave them an 8 out of 15. But Dupree, he was a bit disappointing in his 2 years at Tennessee, and I don't think he's going to turn it around in Atlanta. Lorenzo Carter's okay. Ellis was a good signing from the Saints. He, I guess, quote-unquote, broke out last year. He had 7 of his 8 sacks he's had in his career so far. And, of course, you can't forget about Troy Anderson, bound for Canton there.
What's that mean?
That's where the Pro Football Hall of Fame is.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What about secondary?
I give them a 7 out of 10. They got A.J. Terrell, who I think is still one of the better corners in the league. Jeff Okudah, who, like Terrell, was taken in the first round of the 2020 draft. He was a good trade from the Lions, especially for a 5th-round pick for the guy who was taken 3rd overall back in 2020. It's a low-risk, high-reward type situation there. And I think Jesse Bates was one of the best signings in free agency. It really helped shore up Atlanta's secondary. Richie Grant, he did a good job stepping up into that other safety position last year too. So yeah, 7.
I give him a 6. I don't write all that stuff down. I usually just look at stats and the players and stuff, and I write a number down. So I just do it off the top of my head, which is obviously not working today. Yeah, how's that special teams looking? What do you think?
I give them a 5 out of 7, mostly because of Cordell Patterson. He only returned 9 kicks last year, but he did take one to the house. It's the 9th time he's done that in his career, that puts him pretty high on that list for all-time kick returners and whatnot. Avery Williams also had nearly 300 yards on punt returns. But yeah, whenever Cordell Patterson has the ball in his hands, it can be a dangerous time for the opposing team.
Yeah, they didn't have too many yards this year, but Cordell Patterson, like you said, only returned 9 kicks, so... I was gonna give him a 3, but I think you're right. I think a 4. Well, not right, but you're close to right. So I gave him a 4 out of 7. I think he could be good, unless he gets hurt, because he only returned 9, so we haven't really seen him at full, like a full season's worth of him. So we'll see.
Recently, I guess, yeah. But he's been in the league for 10 years, so
yeah. Full season of kick return. Kick returns is like a scary job.
Oh, yeah, you're going full speed towards other guys who are going full speed and right at you.
Yeah. I'm surprised they don't get more like serious injuries.
Well, that's one reason why he hasn't returned as many kicks recently is because, they've done things where they've moved like where the touchback line is, lot more touchbacks nowadays and whatnot. And now with the fair catch rules being implemented this season, there's going to be even less. So
where's the touchback line?
25.
Really? You can get a touchback if you no, it goes out to the 25?
Yeah, when it goes out of the back of the end zone.
Okay. Yes.
So, if you catch it the kick in the end zone, you're more likely to take a knee then instead of taking it out.
Yeah.
That didn't stop Patterson though because he had 103 yards.
I was about to say, yeah. Just killing it.
So, yeah, I gave them a 5 there. I also gave them a 5 at their kicker position, 5 out of 5 for Young Ho Koo, who I think is one of the better kickers in the league. He had a bit of you could call it a quote-unquote down season last year where he only hit 85% of his kicks. All but one of those misses was from 50-plus, though, so it was those longer kick attempts that he was missing. So those aren't chip shots either, so I think he's still a very good kicker.
Yeah, I give him a 4. What's that overall looking like for all those points together? What does it look like?
I got him at a 66 out of 105.
I got them at a 60.5.
All right.
So we're kind of close. I mean, a little bit.
And then an interesting line from Vegas on this one. Over under 8.
8?
Just 8. I don't know if there was a mistype or something, but it just said 8.
8. Oh.
You want to call it 8.5?
Can we call it 7.5?
Sure.
I'll still take under.
We can make the rules.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take under. I don't love anybody here, and obviously that quarterback position's not doing too well.
Yeah, if they make some kind of Ryan Tannehill trade, I'd feel better about taking the over. I'm gonna take the over regardless, though. I like a lot of
8.5 or 7.5.
On 7.5.
Can we do 8.5?
You requested 7.5.
I lied. Can we do 8.5?
It's too late. It's already in.
It's in my computer as 8.5. So.
Oh, fun.
Where do you want to go next?
Let's head down to Carolina.
Oh, the Panthers.
They had the first overall pick in the draft, and they took Bryce Young with it. What do you think about this young, short quarterback?
Yeah, that totally describes him. Young and short. He's 5'10", allegedly, and
Almost as tall as you.
Yeah, almost. But it's just kind of like. It's kind of goofy to see your lineman stand up and your quarterback disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, a lot of the time, especially with bigger guys like Josh Allen and Justin Herbert, you can see them behind the offensive lineman, and they look, it's easy to throw over because you lift your arm up and it's over the lineman. But for him, I don't know how that's going to work. Maybe he's just going to have to take everything in shotgun or, like, way far back so he can throw it. But I do think he's better. My notes say I think he's better than Mr. Mayonnaise Coffee. So, and I gave Will Levis a 10. So I'm gonna give Bryce Young a 10.5.
Okay, so just a little bit better.
Just a bit. I think he's a better thrower, but Bryce Young has the size on him by a lot, and he's a better runner. So.
Mm-hmm. I gave him a 9 out of 20, which is the same that I gave C.J. Stroud of the Texans. So I think they're pretty much on the same level right now. I mean, it's kind of hard to judge. Rookies, especially rookie quarterbacks, we're trying to give them points and whatnot. I think he's going to be good, but how good is he going to be as a rookie? I don't know. There's also the chance that he doesn't even start for maybe half the season or something like that if he's not ready. They got Andy Dalton there who can take a beating for him so he doesn't have to.
Yeah. Apparently I gave C.J. Stroud an 11, so I think he's slightly better.
You were like, Panthers messed up, took the wrong guy.
Yeah. To running backs.
I give them a 6 out of 8 here. Miles Sanders, he's coming off of a career year with over 1,200 yards, 11 rushing touchdowns, but it also helps when you're running behind the best offensive line in the league. I think he's going to take a little bit of a step back this season. Chuba Hubbard's the other running back there, and over his 2 seasons, he's got 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns.
What a funny little name. Yeah, I gave him a 5 out of 8. Everyone was all high on Miles Sanders and saying he's real good, but I don't think he's that good. You put a lot.
I still think he's good, but
I don't think. I think you're wrong. I think if you put most running backs behind that offensive line, they'll get 1,000 yards. Like,
heck, you could put me behind that offensive line.
You could put me behind. No, but yeah, I think he'll still be good, but he won't nearly be as good. I'm not sure if he'll get 1,000 yards. Yeah, and then Chuba Hubbard, or how did you say that?
Hubbard, you were very close. You missed one letter.
Chuba Hubbard. Yeah, he's gonna be fine, I guess. Yeah, 5 out of 8. Receivers, yeah.
What are your thoughts
Excuse
there?
Me, guys. I think Adam Thielen's still a good receiver. He's old and decrepit, though. But he still has some pretty good hands, and he's a good – he knows what to do because he's been here for so long.
Mm-hmm. Smart receiver.
10 seasons. Wow. But, yeah. And then they also have DJ Clark, who is fine, I guess. He'll be okay, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Probably.
Yeah, Clark was good with the Lions last year. 500 yards, 3 touchdowns.
I'm sure he'll do good underneath Adam Thielen as well, with a lot of Adam Thielen like coaching him, telling him how to be and stuff. Because that's what Justin Jefferson was talking about, and he was crediting him with some of his success and why he was good at route running and all that, because he had Adam Thielen there to show him how to do it. So I mean that could be good. I still don't think they'll be great because yeah. So I gave him a 6 out of 12.
Yeah, I also gave him a 6 out of 12. They also got Terrence Marshall Jr. there, who had over or almost 500 yards and a score last year, which is fine. He's currently set to be their number 3 receiving option. But yeah, a 6 out of 12.
What about the tight ends?
Well, you're not going to believe me here, but I gave their tight ends a 3.5
What?
out of 8. I've converted. I'm a half pointer now.
Let's go.
You've done it. Just because it felt like I couldn't put Hayden Hurst. I originally had him at a 3, but I felt like he should be higher, but I didn't want to put him at the same level as Kyle Pitts at a 4, and so I was like, well, there's only one thing I can do here, and that's bring out the point system.
Yeah, buddy.
So it does feel like Hurst kind of revived his career with the Bengals last year. 414 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he was a solid receiving threat. Especially down the stretch there for Joe Burrow. Good receiving option, end of the season and into the playoffs.
Yeah, I didn't have the same trouble there. I did have Kyle Pitts at a 5, so I gave him a 4. I don't have to do those stupid half points you do. But, yeah, I think he's a good receiving option, especially when, your other receivers are not the best. I think he's good at what he's not good at what he does. He does what
all the tight ends do.
He does what other tight ends do, and that's, tight end. Oh, man, no one's going to get that, and we just sound dumb.
I mean, we sounded dumb the first time we did it.
You did it. You want to react?
No, you just sound super dumb.
Yeah. Benea one time said...
What do you think of their offensive line?
I give them a 4 out of 10. 5 of the 6 spots in the PFF grade are between a 61 and a 69, and that's not very good. That's all I know about their offensive line.
Yeah, on paper, to me at least, it looked like it's an offensive line for sure.
One of them.
It's solid. They got Ikem Ukwamu.
That's a word.
6th overall pick in 2022. He was okay as a rookie, so I give him a 5 out of 10.
Hold on. Ikem Ukwamu. Yeah.
That's what I said.
That's the...
What'd you give that line again? A 4?
I give it a 4 out of 10, yeah. What'd you give
just above you. I give him a 5.
Oh, really high on that line.
What about that D-line?
Yeah, I give him a 5. How about you?
I gave him a 5.
Why is that?
Because, Derek Brown, he's a first-round pick back in 2020. He's a little bit underwhelming, though. They got Henry Anderson going into his second season in Carolina. He hasn't done much there, but Shai Tuttle was a solid signing from the Saints, which brings that up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. A lot of this defensive, offensive line and some of the linebackers, I was just
so boring.
It's so boring. But but I was just kind of looking up stuff from what other more intelligent people have said. So that's why
a lot of these people
that are so intelligent without me. How about those linebackers? This is a 4 or 3-4, so they...
Yep, so out of 15.
Out of 15.
For that linebacking core. I give him a 10 out of 15.
What?
Brian Burns is coming off back-to-back Pro Bowl seasons, and he had a career-high 12.5 sacks last year. They got Frankie, is it Love? L-U-V-U?
Luvu?
Something like that. He had 7 sacks last year. Shaq Thompson is solid, and they also got Marquise Haynes with 5 sacks last year. So I like what they got going on in that linebacking room.
Shaq Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 12.5 sacks is gnarly. Get it done. He has his... On ESPN, it says he's at defensive end, but then if you go to their depth chart, he moved to linebacker, apparently. So,
yeah, if we're ever wrong about, like, a player's position, especially if it's on, like, the defensive line or the linebacking core, it's not our fault. It's ESPN.
Yeah.
That's our source.
We couldn't have Googled it.
I did. I Googled ESPN.
Yeah, that's what's up. I mean, yeah. Yeah, you give him a 10 as well?
Yep. You gave him a 10 as well?
Also, I did, yeah.
Wow.
Wow. What about that secondary?
I give them a 7.
Wow, I give them less.
Oh, well, J.C. Horn, he's developing into a good corner, I think. I think he'll end up being pretty good for them after barely playing as a rookie, and then last year he was fine. They got Dante Jackson, who's a solid corner opposite him, Von Bell, Xavier Woods. That makes up a good safety duo. And you can't forget about Jeremy Chin, his first 2 seasons were good. Wasn't quite as good last year, but I think he'll still be a force to be reckoned with. And C.J. Henderson is a former first-round pick for what it's worth.
All that and more is the reason I gave him a 5.
Cool. What do you give their kicker?
Oh, I hate that you do kicker first.
I hate that you do special teams first.
I give their kicker a 4 out of 5. He attempted 35 field goals and he only missed 2. And he also missed 2 extra points, which is not the most cool. You don't want to be missing extra points. But the 2 kicks that he did miss, one of them was between 30 and 39 yards, which, you should be hitting that. And then the other one, he missed between 40 and 49. And he hit both of his 50-plus. His long was 54 yards. Mm-hmm. So a pretty solid kicker, even a little bit above solid. Whoa, hold on. I'm looking at the Panthers' stats for that year, and it has Baker Mayfield right underneath our kicker here for kicking. Mm-hmm. He didn't kick once, but
I don't know why he's there.
7 games, he's there. Wow, maybe we shouldn't be trusting ESPN.
ESPN. So for those same reasons, I also gave Eddie Pinheiro 4 out of 5. Like you said, he only missed 2 field goals, and throughout his career, he has never missed from 50-plus.
What a baller, but he has missed from less than 50 twice this year.
At least
twice.
I also gave their special teams a 4 out of 7 because Johnny Hekker is still a good punter. The returners are definitely there also.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was looking at and being all like, hold on. But, yeah, I gave them a 3 out of 7. They're okay.
So what does that all add up to for you?
56.5.
Ooh, I got a 59.5.
What? That's crazy. So
indeed.
Insane. What is that over-under that Vegas gives us? Is it a solid number this time?
It is. It is a solid 7.5.
Okay, that's not a... Okay. 7.5. I don't think they'll be that good. I think I'm saying under 7.5.
I'm going to take that under as well.
Yeah, especially since I gave them a really, really low rating. I'm like...
That might be my lowest rating or maybe second lowest. I don't remember what I gave my Texans.
Oh, my Texans are a 55, I think. 55, or they're 57, and my Bears are a 55.5. I hate the Bears, apparently. What's wrong with me?
I give the Texans a 64, so apparently I'm off my rocker.
Yeah.
I think that might be my first one under 60 then.
Wow, you could totally be... You should get back on your rocker. Where to next, good sir? Let's go to the Saints, actually. I don't care what you say. How about that quarterback? How about him?
Well, he's there. And his name is Baker Mayfield.
The Saints.
I thought we were going Bucks.
I said Saints.
Did you say Saints?
I did say Saints.
Mine said Bucks.
Baker Mayfield on the Saints.
Ooh, imagine. So the quarterback there is named Derek Carr. And he's a solid quarterback. I think he's a little bit overhated, in my opinion. He's the best quarterback in this division, so he's going to be getting that bonus point, which takes him from a 13 to a 14.
Same here.
Jameis Winston is a solid backup to have. I mean, Jameis Winston.
Is that how you... What?
David said that a couple weeks ago when he was on.
David, no. Stop it. Okay, on to those running backs. Alvin Kamara, I think, is pretty good. But the real star here is Jamal Williams. I love Jamal Williams so much.
I know you do.
He's the best running back in the league by far. He's not. But, yeah, I gave him a 6.5, which is the same score I gave the Falcons.
Oh.
But I think they're a little bit better, but not like a whole half point. So I gave them that extra.
So instead of being a half point above them, they're a full point above them.
If I gave them the half point above, then I'd have to give them a whole nother point because they're the best. So, yeah, I think they're a little bit better. Yeah.
I don't, which is why I only gave them a 5 out of 8.
Jamal Williams had 1,000 yards and 17 touchdowns. I think he'll still have that same production or similar on the Saints, and I don't think either of those other two guys can get 17 touchdowns.
I don't think Jamal Williams is going to get 17 touchdowns again, though.
He probably won't get 17, but I think he'll do.
He might get 10.
I think he could get 10 plus touchdowns.
I think he'll get 7.
Let's make a bet on it right now. $5. He gets
over
10
under 10.5.
9.5.
9.5 under.
Over.
Okay.
Okay.
$5.
I'm going to make that bet right here.
I'm taking that under.
It's on air.
On the air.
On
Not
the air.
edited out. Definitely not.
And if it comes
And if this part isn't in the episode, guys.
if it comes postseason, that counts too, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, these numbers are all regular season numbers. Don't talk to me. Talk to the NFL. They're the ones who make postseason stats different. I don't know why they do that, and I think it's stupid.
It's because not everyone gets that game.
Will be better.
Yeah, exactly. You deserve that game. You should get the points from it. Stupid.
Alvin Kamara is a good dual threat running back. You know, he's never had a 1,000-yard rushing season, but that's because he's getting 800 yards rushing and another like 800 receiving.
Mm-hmm.
So he does it both ways. Problem with him right now is he's in some legal issues.
Whoopsie.
So we'll have to see how much he's going to play this year or if he's even going to play at all. We don't really know right now. Jamal Williams, though, here to save the day. And I think if needed, he could be their top lead back this season.
Yeah, I love Jamal Williams, man, so much.
All right.
Kiss that man.
Receiving. What did you give their receivers?
Give the receivers an 8 out of 12. I think they have some solid receivers. Chris Olave was really good last year, getting 1,000 yards.
Great rookie.
That's really cool as a rookie. And they have Michael Thomas
That is
Michael
Michelle Thomas.
Michelle Thomas, who only played I think 3 games this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he only played 3 games. He got 170 yards, which is pretty good. He did get 3 touchdowns in those 3 games. So that production, every single game getting a touchdown, which is exactly how it would pan out. Yeah, that'd be sick.
Mm-hmm. He's good when healthy, but problem is he hasn't really been healthy since 2019.
And this is one of my favorite names of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Rashid Shaheed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, undrafted rookie last year, 500 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Ballin', yeah. I think he'll do better with a better quarterback this year, too. So I gave their receivers an 8.
Mm-hmm. I also gave them an 8.
What?
They got some fine depth on that roster as well with Traquan Smith and James Washington. So,
Traquan Smith.
what do you think about that tight end room?
I don't know what I think about. Oh, I think they're 4 out of 8.
I also think that.
Cool. What about that O-line?
Juwan Johnson, 500 yards, 7 touchdowns last year. Pretty good for a tight end. They also signed Foster Moreau, who currently does have cancer, so hopefully that stops. He had a career high 420 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Raiders last year.
What? What?
Foster Moreau?
Foster Morel.
Yep.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, what about that O-line?
I give that offensive line a 5
Me too.
out of 10. First round pick, Trevor Penning, was only able to play 6 games as a rookie. They also got Pete on that line, who's only played 17 games in 2 years, so he's missed a full season in the last 2 years combined. And the rest of the offensive line is there.
Sure it
There was
is.
nothing that really there that was like standing out to me in a good way or in a bad way. It was just,
It was just standing. It wasn't even out or in.
facts.
That D-line, these guys run a 4-3.
The only one in the South that does.
It's so strange and weird. The combination of Cameron Jordan and I can't read. Kyle Granson.
Carl.
They combined for 14 sacks and 59 pressures last season.
Facts.
Both players finished with an above 82 on the PFF grade. And then they're kind of dragged down by Nathan
Shepard
I can't.
and Kalen Saunders.
Yeah, and they had lower PFF grades. Kalen Shepard was a 68.9. Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not going to talk anymore. That's it. All done.
11.
I gave him an 11 as well.
You said it all.
I said
Now,
too
what do you have
much.
to say about
I don't think I do have anything
say
to
words
say.
about the linebackers?
Yeah, I'm not going to read their names, but 2 of the guys combined for 13.5 sacks, and they do run, as we said, a 4-3. So as linebackers getting a fair amount of sacks, that's actually pretty good. So yeah, I'm not going to keep talking.
Yeah, Demario Davis has been one of the best linebackers in the league the last few years.
Yeah, he was
He's
on my
either first or second team All Pro the last 4 years.
He was right there on my notes, but I
You couldn't read his name.
can't do it.
They also got Pete Warner, who's solid, and Zach Bond, who could be getting more playing time this season as a potential starter. I'm going to need you to hold on to your marbles right now, okay? Because I gave them a 7.5.
Wow, I give him a 7. Dang, we're both pretty based today, except for when I open my mouth.
That's typical.
Just the written stuff is pretty good, though, on my end.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really good at this.
Yeah, what do you have written down for DBs?
Uh-oh. Can you read that name? I can't. Don't let me do it.
Wait, what?
Alante Taylor? Is that not his name?
I'm trying to... Who is it?
I don't know. Maybe I wrote down the wrong guy's name.
Is that... We go back to ESPN. Yeah, no. Are you making up people? Are you making up players?
Maybe I am. Maybe you should talk for this one.
Well, Marshawn Lattimore is one of the big stars in the secondary. He was coming off of 3 straight Pro Bowl seasons before he got hurt last year and was only able to play in 7 games. But I still think he's one of the best corners in the league. Tyrann Mathieu in his first year there with the Saints was good. They also got Marcus May to pair him up. So it's a good safety duo right there.
Yeah, what the frick am I talking about? What is all this? What did I write down? What am I doing?
I gave them a 7.
Man, I gave him a 5 because apparently I had the wrong guy. What is wrong with me?
I don't know.
Man, my brain just doesn't work. Wow, Let's continue.
Any special teams thoughts?
I gave him a 3 out of 7.
Yep, Raheed Shaheed as the return man. He was solid last year. Gave him a 3.
They had less than 600 yards between the 4 guys that was running back.
Bummer.
They had a long of 33, which is not like a good long. They had no touchdowns, obviously, because it was a long of 33. So 3 out of 7, not too good.
And for kicker, we got Will Lutz. He's good, but he is coming off of the worst season of his career. He only converted 74% of his field goal attempts in 2022. I think he's going to bounce back, though, so I still give him a 4 out of 5.
I give him a 3.5 out of 5. Yeah, they're kind of. He had no kicks in between 1 and 19 yards, and he had a lot of kicks outside of 30 yards. They're kind of. They make him kick a lot outside of that because they can't get touchdowns because they're a bad team. But he did get 100% of his extra points, and like you're saying, worst year of his career. I think he bounces back. I gave them overall a 68 out of 105.
Overall, I gave them a 68.5. I shouldn't have done this.
No, you're a bad person.
For the first time, we would have actually fully agreed on a team, but no.
Yeah, but we were off on most of the people too.
But it was all adding up. Vegas has them at 9.5.
There's no
for
way.
over under.
There's no way.
I'm tapping the over.
I'm gonna tentatively tap that over.
That's why I'm saying 10.
Just barely though.
But they might only get 9. Darn you, Vegas.
Dang it, Vegas. You sly dogs.
All right. And
under those Buccaneers that you love so much.
Yeah, they have a quarterback. What's his name, John?
I don't know. Derek Carr.
Baker Mayfield he's had his moments throughout his career, and even last year he had some good moments with the Panthers and the Rams. But I think he's destined to be a journeyman in the NFL at this point. He'll be on the Bucs this year and maybe even next year, and then he'll be on another team as competing for some starting job. He'll always be fighting with the 30th best quarterback in the league or whatever. Just good enough to be a starter, but not good enough to where you want him to be your starter for multiple seasons at this point.
How many teams has he been on?
Well, he was on the Browns for 4 years. So this time last year he was on the Panthers. Then he got cut mid-season, signed with the Rams. Now he's on the Bucs. So if you go back the last year and a half, 4 teams.
What's the guy who's been on the most teams?
I think Ryan Fitzpatrick.
He's been on 10, right?
14.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. If we're going most, I think Josh Johnson may have been on more.
Oh.
But Ryan Fitzpatrick, everywhere he went, he ended up starting. So meaningful quarterback movement, I guess you could say, with him. I think that's what Baker Mayfield is going to be, a Josh McCown, Ryan Fitzpatrick type guy. If he's willing to take on that role, he might have too much pride for that. I don't know. If he does end up struggling, we could see some Kyle Trask or John Wolford. Okay. I give him an 11, though, just because Baker does have those good moments.
I give him a 10 just because Baker is only having those good moments, and he isn't a good moment. He just most of the time, it's kind of like his teammate's last name. It's just kind of trash.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Thank you. I'm a father. What about that running back situation? How do you love it?
Well, the funny thing is, I don't.
Ooh.
Rachaad White was definitely a running back for the Buccaneers as a rookie. 481 yards, 1 touchdown, only 3.7 yards per carry. He did have almost 300 receiving yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. They went out and they signed Chase Edmonds, who's a fine running back. They also got Keyshawn Vaughn back there. But they might just be returning as the worst rushing attack in the league back-to-back seasons now, because they were terrible, dead last at running the ball last year, and I think they're going to be dead last again. That's why I gave them a 2 out of 8. I was thinking about a 1. I erred on the side of 2, though.
Yeah, maybe 3 is too high, which is what I gave him. I think you're
very
right.
generous.
I think I'm going to give him a 2. Yeah, because last year they had Leonard Fournette, and they couldn't even run the ball with Leonard Fournette, and Leonard Fournette is a beast. Only one time a year when he gets into the playoffs.
Playoff.
But, you know.
Still unsigned. He's still just out there existing.
Maybe they'll sign him in time for the playoffs when they don't make it.
Yeah. So, wide receiver room. Here's some good things for those Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans.
The only good
out
things.
There. This wide receiver room. Mike Evans still has not had a season under 1,000 yards, and he's been playing since 2014. And I think that trend is going to continue. Doesn't really matter who's throwing to him, because he didn't have Tom Brady for most of his career, and he was putting up big numbers with like Mike Glennon and Jameis Winston, and he's doing it with Brady. I think he actually had, on average, like less yards when he was with Tom Brady. So I think he's going to keep it up. Frick it, Mike Evans is down there somewhere. I think he's probably still like a top 10 receiver, honestly. I think he's kind of underrated. And then Chris Godwin, fantastic number 2 receiver to have there. He's had 1,000 yards 3 of the last 4 years, and it would be 4 of the last 4 if he didn't get hurt back in 2020. That is exactly what you want in your number 2 receiver. And they got some good depth there as well with Russell Gage.
Yeah, I like it too. I was originally giving it an 8, but I gave it a 9 with that extra point.
I was originally giving him a 9, but then I gave him a 10 with that extra point.
That's crazy.
All right, back to the slumps now in Tampa Bay. Not going to lie, I'd never heard of Cade Otton until I did this.
I'd never heard of him until you just said that.
He had almost 400 yards, 2 touchdowns as a rookie. They also took Payne Durham in the 5th round of the draft. He's there. I gave him a 2.5 out of 8.
That's really cute with your 0.5s. I gave him a 3 out of 8.
So high on him.
Yeah, I'm really high on them. What about that O-line?
Well, Tristan Wirfs is one of the best left tackles in the league.
So good.
Ryan Jensen, he's a great center. He missed all of last year, though, because he got hurt in the preseason or in practice, something like that. So he's going to be coming back from injury this season. Probably still be a pretty good center, I would imagine. They also took Cody Mock from North Dakota State in the 2nd round of the draft, who seems pretty good. No front teeth there for him because he is a beast like that.
What?
You didn't see a picture of him?
Who?
Cody Mock.
Cody Mock? I did not see a picture of him.
Look at him.
Look at his... Yeah.
Look at his teeth or lack thereof. I think he's going to be a beast there for him. So I gave them a 6 out of 10.
I gave him a 7.
Why?
Got to give him points where you can get them.
Okay.
It's like
you were like, their points are too low. They need to be more.
Why are you harshing on me? You gave him a 6. You're right below me. Come on.
Defensive line.
You tell him about defensive line. I don't want to.
Well, Vita Vea is a great defensive tackle. He had 6.5 sacks last year. Good run stopper. Logan Hall, he didn't play a ton as a rookie. He is currently set as a starter there. He had 2.5 sacks last year. And then they got Kalijah Cansey, who was their first-round pick in the draft. Out of Pitt, he had 7 sacks in his last 2 seasons in college.
He did.
I give him a 7 out of 10.
Why?
What'd you give him?
A 5.
Why are you so low on them?
Why are you so high?
Because I just told you.
Okay.
Tell me one reason.
Because I wanted to give him a 5?
You gotta give points where you can get them.
Yeah, and here's not where it is.
Well, did they get any points in their linebacking room?
No.
Give them a 0.
What did you give him?
I gave them an 11. I really like their linebacking room. They got Shaq Barrett. Granted, it was 4 years ago when he had that breakout season with 19.5 sacks. He's still a good pass rusher, though. It's not crazy. Not as crazy as it was in 2019. Lawante David has been a steady force in Tampa Bay for a decade now, recording 100 tackles in all but 2 seasons that he's been there. Devin White is good as well. He had 124 tackles and 5.5 sacks in 2022. They also got Joe Tyron Shukanoya, first-round pick from 2021.
Here, let me try that one. Never mind.
And he had 4 sacks in each of his first 2 seasons in the league.
Yeah, I give him a 9.
Cool.
Why am I so low on them, do you ask?
I was thinking it.
Yeah.
Secondary. Neither Jamal Deem or Carlton Davis are superstars, but I think they make up a good cornerback duo there in that secondary. They also got Ryan Neal, who's a fine safety for the Seahawks last few years, and Antoine Winfield Jr. is a pretty good safety as well.
Yeah, and Cartel Davis.
Carlton. You're struggling with Carl.
Cartel. The cartel. He had 12 passes deflected, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and who was it? It was either him or Jamal Dean had like 17 batted away as a rookie, which I was like, that's cool.
That's
I was like 4 years ago, but like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him
I give him a 6.
I give them a 6 as well.
Wow.
I give him an extra point because of 4 years ago they got some deflected stuff.
Good reason.
I didn't actually, but
What do you think of their kicker?
I hate that you go kicker first.
I've been doing it every other.
I know you have, but I don't like the way you did that. I think he's pretty good. He got 100% of his not his field goals. Wow, that'd be crazy. He got 100% of his extra points, which is what you want. And he was hitting a lot of field goals as well. He missed 6 of them, or 5 of them, 40 plus to 40 to 50 plus yards out. He missed 1 in between 30 and 39. But besides that, he did a pretty good job. It was 36 attempts. He missed 6 of them. I mean, that happens. It happens. Bad weather, bad
kicker.
Yeah,
Chase McLaughlin, I think he's probably going to be their kicker this season. He's been a little bit inconsistent throughout his career. He's bounced around. I don't think he's ever been on the same team for 2 consecutive seasons. In his second stint with the Colts last year, he did hit 83% of his kicks. They also have another former Colts kicker in Roberto Blankenship, but he really struggles, especially anything from 50 plus. So I'm not sure if he's going to end up making the roster or not. Maybe he'll be practice squad. I don't know.
He's very consistent, though. He hits 80% of his field goals and 80% of his extra points.
Just 80 everything, but not 80 plus yard field goal attempts. For that reason, I gave him a 3 out of 5.
I gave him a 4.
What about that special teams?
Yeah, what about it?
It happened. They got
it happened. Unfortunately,
they got their kick returner there, Devin Thompkins, who will likely be their returner again, and then their punter, Jake Camrata. I probably said that wrong, but I didn't say it like you probably would have. He was good as a rookie last year, and he'll probably be pretty busy in his second season.
Yeah, not too many yards on those return fellas there. I am now realizing that he only played 5 games and still got 230 or 260 yards.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and he had a long of 54 yards returning. So I was going to give them something lower, but now I'm going to give them something higher.
Oh, I gave him a 3, and I'm going to stick there.
I also give them a 3 now.
Oh, what were they at before?
A 4 or a 2. I mean,
You're just hyping them up. Like, yeah, I lowered their points.
Yeah, I give them a 2. What's that overall looking like for you point-wise?
61.5.
61.5. I give him a 58.
All right. And then Vegas, very low
Under.
on the Bucks, 6.5.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what, though?
What?
I don't, because I was asking you, do you know?
Oh, because they still got a solid defense. Their head coach is defensive-minded. I think that could carry them to a few wins. And, Baker Mayfield, 25% of the time is a good quarterback, and he'll have his moments where he comes up clutch. So
They got
that could
8
get him a few
wins.
more. Mm-hmm.
9. They got 9 wins.
8.
Did they really get 8?
Yep.
That's crazy. They got 8 wins with Thomas Brady.
Old man Thomas Brady, though.
Yeah, still 1,700 yard or 4,700 yard Tom Brady though.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't believe in them.
I'm gonna take the under on 6.5.
I also am taking the under. It's
'Cause
not good.
I don't know. I don't know how much I believe in Todd Bowles as a head coach at this point. He fizzled out with the Jets, half a decade ago. It was probably longer than that now. And now with the Bucks, kind of struggled last year. We'll see how it goes. He's not in a great spot to succeed, but part of that's also put yourself in a good spot to succeed as the head coach. So
Do better.
do better, be better.
Oh, gee golly. Now we're out of this stupid division.
We did it,
Oh, my goodness.
and in only about 50 minutes.
Yeah, we did so well on time. I'm
Killing
proud
it.
of us. Next time, we are off to the east.
Oh yes. Oh, that means we got to talk with David.
Oh, crap. Yeah.
Okay, I'll get back to him.
We also may be off to the west if timing doesn't work out. So we will be off to one of the other teams. Or
Only 2
conferences.
divisions left. This thing's
It's-
flying by.
Wow,
I
so
feel like we
much
just
flying.
started.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll go through it again.
Be like, man, my rankings were so bad I had to just restart.
Yeah, so originally I gave him an 8. I gave him a 7.5 this time. I'm just kind of
I really came around and I did give Lamar a 20.
21 for
Go back
Lamar.
and watch the AFC North episode for context and such. Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for watching, for listening. All the things, of course, on Spotify. Down below, you can vote on who you think is going to win this division in 2023. If you're on YouTube, you can also just go to the comment section and tell us we're an idiot. Did you want to read
Mars.
that comment? We did get a comment
Yeah,
from,
go ahead. Read it to
I
us.
believe, a brother of Mr. David or some kind of relative of him, perhaps a cousin,
I can't read, so I'm not going to be doing all that.
maybe a
reading.
father. I don't think a father.
Father figure?
Father figure.
Father figure with the last name is
Yep.
the same?
His name is Jonathan.
What a dumb name.
All right, so he see all those words he wrote.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. You can go ahead and
We'll
read
read
it if you feel so inclined.
Your hate for the Broncos. This is on the AFC West episode. He's a Broncos fan, I'm pretty sure. Your hate for the Broncos is just fuel for the fire. If you look how Russell Wilson played without Nathaniel Hackett as coach, he was more accurate and threw to more open receivers, which is true. I'm just not counting on that to continue to happen, I guess.
There was open receivers, and you can't blame coaches for you throwing to nobody when there's open receivers.
They lost most of their games by 1 possession last year, most in the league. That's right, because they couldn't score. With a new head coach, it's going to improve. Probably. I don't think it could get much worse. They had 22 starters injured. Ouch. Most of them were on the offensive line. Double ouch. Remember, for most of the season, they were playing injured third-string offensive linemen because of injuries. It's a real big bummer for Denver's offensive line there. So maybe they'll be good. I mean, David definitely thinks they will be. And it sounds like David's relative of sorts also thinks they will be.
Yeah, I had the Broncos at a 64.5, which I think is really
And you
fair.
went under on 8.5.
I did when I'll go under on 8.5 because I think their defense is pretty solid and it was doing good last year. But it was kind of like the opposite of the Vikings, where the Vikings could score but they couldn't defend, but they just outscored the other team.
Yeah, the anti-Vikings.
The anti-Vikings, but when you're the anti-Vikings, you have a good defense and then you can't score. With
Mhm.
those, how many? 14 touchdowns that Russ had?
Something.
He had just more than his bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
He had a porta potty outside of his house, so that counts though. So
Thank you, Jonathan, for the comment, though. Go ahead and tell us your thoughts on this one, I guess, if you want to. And
Yeah.
your name doesn't have to be Jonathan to leave a comment, so go ahead and
it's
do that.
preferred though.
It is preferred, so I'm expecting you to comment.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for all the stuff.
Bye.